everybody. This is the 59th round of VVV Gaming's The Losers Bracket, and this show might be our most jam-packed with information to date. I'll start off by saying next week, episode 60, we've got a huge surprise in store for you. Make sure to tune in next week for that. But this week, wow, where do we even begin? We've got tons of guests that are going to be on the show. We're going to start off with a little bit of Counter-Strike. We got two of our Counter-Strike source players with us tonight, both Bandit and Jerebear. Guys, welcome to the Losers Bracket. How are you both doing today?
Yeah, thanks, man. I'm doing good.
Good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Awesome, guys. Welcome. So, Montreal, ETS, tell us. 4th place, congratulations. Tell us how it went. Start out with the fun stuff, and let's get to the action. So, how do you guys feel about it?
Super excited. I mean, we came in just wanting to live up to the hype, basically, because a lot of teams online knew we were good, and coming from the U.S., quite a long trip, we wanted to step in and do well, and we knew as a team, we knew we would do well, and we showed up, and we did well.
It was good. I'm not necessarily happy with the placing, but I think we could have did better, but I'm definitely very, very happy with how we played. We had a lot of clutch rounds, and people really stepped up for this LAN.
For those who may not be familiar, why don't you go ahead and start us out with who was on the roster, and then after that, tell us a little bit about what you think was your best match and why.
We went to Montreal with our starting 5, which is me, Jerebear, Jacob Bandit, Owen Bear, Jules, and Ahmed Talento. It was a very long trip, but it was definitely worth it.
So what do you think was your best match, and what made it the best match?
Oh, wow. I actually can't remember what map it was on, but I know there was a CT side that I was definitely tearing it up. I actually think it might have been on Dust 2, but I can't quite remember. But I think overall, we all did good on pretty much every map. Nobody really dropped the ball, which was very, very good to see.
Bandit, so walk us through how your team did sort of round by round. What was the first round, then who did you play after that, and walk us through your progression through this tournament.
Well, we got there Thursday. We kind of chilled, did our thing, set up around 6 o'clock on Friday, and basically at that time we just had to set our computers up, get everything set up and see how everything was, and we just kind of scrimmed and played around. Main tournament stuff didn't start until Saturday, early morning. So we get together, we start scrimming. We had matches early on. To be honest with you, we were playing so many teams and going around. I, at the top of my head, cannot remember all the teams in order, but the round robin started first. We played 4 matches in our round robin, and we came out of that 4-0. So after everything was done with the late night, we had some hiccups, but the LAN finally ended that night for the round robin. We would play 7th overall in the round robin, so we had the 7th seed going into Sunday's morning of playoffs.
And so Sunday morning, how many teams were left on Sunday morning?
16 teams were left starting Sunday morning. So then after about a good 3 hours of sleep, everyone showed up again to compete. It was hard to get up, but once you get in the LAN again, you get pretty pumped up and you get all excited and ready to frag out again. Awesome.
So let's talk about, for those who don't know, what the actual placings were. Who placed first? Who were the top 4?
The top 4, first place was Dynamic. They've been placing pretty much top in every online and on LAN tournament for the last 2 years. Second place was Blight Gaming. They were the team that actually beat us out on, I think it was the second to last round in playoffs. And then it was... Jer, who was third?
It was Itemize that came in third.
And then it was us at 4th.
So you were saying, Jerebear, that you weren't quite pleased with your placing. You felt you could have done a little bit better. Talk us through that a little bit. Where do you think things didn't quite go your way?
Honestly, we're a very good team at adapting, but the thing is we adapt too late. But we did get lucky, and for our last match against Blade Everkai, it probably wouldn't have been as close as it was if I don't know if their power went out or what, but basically we had to restart the round. But that gave us 5 minutes to get in a little team huddle and just talk about everything. And from there, we just went on a 5-0 run once we got it relived. we had the momentum, but we just couldn't quite finish it. But I definitely think that we could have done a lot better. Our CT sides on land were pretty much unstoppable. We had a very, very solid CT sides. Our T sides is kind of where we dropped the ball, but with a little bit of work, a little more time in the server together, going over stuff, we can definitely make that a lot better.
So if you guys were to pick one person from the VV team that you feel was the MVP of this tournament, who would it be and why? Start us out, Bandit. Who do you think?
Well, I know Jerebear and Owen Bear really stepped up. I know Owen and Jer both have. Jer, I guess mainly he gets called online a lot, so it's good that he came to LAN and just basically pwned face. I mean, the guy hits his shots all the time, so I have to give it to Jerebear. But Owen did really well too.
Well, Jerebear, I guess it's either humility or you say, yeah, it was me. Who do you pick?
See that now I have to. It's really hard to answer that question because there was. I think I said it earlier. There was so many rounds where everybody just stepped up. Like Julian and Ahmed for our last match on Contra, they did some work. Owen Bear did really good also. If I had to give an MVP, I would probably give it to Owen Bear. But Jules and Ahmed, even Bandit, I mean, it was just an all-around good performance by everybody.
So how many teams were at the event total, Jerebear?
I believe there was like 39 or 40.
And how did the prize payout go for this event?
$2,800 for first, $1,800 for second, and $1,000 for third, which definitely we feel like we should at least took that third, but I mean, there's always next time.
So any ideas when the next ETS will be?
This is actually my first time attending ETS, but I believe they have it at least once a year, maybe twice, but I'm not for sure on that. Bandit would probably have an idea.
Yeah, I believe they do a spring and they do a fall, if I'm not mistaken. But this is also my first time going to ETS. A lot of us had to travel quite far, but Julian has gone to I believe two of them, so he probably know better, but I believe two.
So based on this fourth place finish, what do you think that going to this LAN as a team has done for your team's chemistry? How has it helped? Has it revealed any problems that you feel you need to work on? Talk through what the sum value to the team has been for this experience.
When we came in on Friday night, we sat down, we got our computers. We weren't used to it. I mean, everybody's sitting in your home computer on your desk, and you got your comfort level. You sit down and start playing, and we realize, holy cow, like we're not doing well. Like we started there, and we had actually an ESEA match that night on LAN playing against some online people, and we didn't do well. We got killed. The next morning, we get back in, we're doing better. By the end of the round play, our teamwork and chemistry was really coming along. And by Sunday, we were playing really well. If we would have had another day of playing on LAN together, I believe we would have placed even higher for sure. I mean, every match, every scrim we played, we stepped up even more.
Jerebear, what do you think? You agree? Anything else you want to add?
I agree with a lot of it. I definitely think the LAN has improved our communication, and like I said, we adapt well, but we don't adapt quickly enough. I'd say that would be our big problem, and I definitely think this showed our weak points, and it'll give us a chance to talk about it and make sure that we can change those for the next time.
Well, awesome, guys. Before we let you go, I want you to go ahead, starting with you, Bandit. You got any shout-outs or anyone you want to say anything to?
Well, shout-outs to all the fans at the LAN for sure. We actually had quite a few people that came up and watched us play, and they gave us support. It was really cool to see. A lot of people online too, posting with the ESEA news and stuff like that. There were a lot of people cheering for us, so it was really exciting to have a lot of people look at us and say, "Hey, go VVV."
Jerebear, what about you?
Yeah. Shout out to everybody, definitely at ATS. I mean, everybody that showed their support for us, and shout out to Swee and all those good people, Jules, all them. I guess Jules couldn't be here today. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, guys. Well, we're really proud of you for getting fourth. I think we definitely were happy with the results, and I'm sure we're going to do a more lengthy write-up, but I want to thank you for your time, for showing up on the losers bracket. You guys take care.
Thanks, Sherry.
Yeah, thanks. Take care, man.
Gotta say, from just listening to that, I actually did not know that was their first LAN event together as a roster. Pretty impressive from what they've done so far. Hey, Jerry?
I'm really happy that they took fourth. I mean, this is a team that has been with us for a long time. They've had their changes, but they're consistent. They're like, in many ways, the ideal sort of team for VV Gaming. They have a good work ethic. They have great chemistry. They're great people. They're very low maintenance, and it makes it very easy to support those kind of teams. Those are the kind of players you want to have represent your organization. And ETS for us, I thought, was a really big success. So, again, a shout out to all of them and congratulations. So this takes us from Montreal. Why don't we go to the other big event in the northeast part of the country, PAX East. We have with us, obviously, Justin Spikemouth is here and Lee Brock. So why don't we start out with you, Justin? Welcome back to the show from PAX. How are you?
Doing all right. Kind of trying to bring it all back together.
So walk us through some of the highlights. What would you say is the one highlight or two of PAX East for you? Tell us.
I think by far one of the biggest ones inside the convention center would be probably Gears of War 3. It really stood out in my mind compared to everything else to see how much different it is now compared to Gears of War 2 and how open the Gears of War community was about it. Cliffy B came and hung out for a while and got to meet a lot of the people. I sat down and talked with them for a while. So it was a really good time, and the game plays really competitively. I think it's by far the best competitive Gears so far. Just from playing.
You're going to get a lot of people's hopes up high. I can hear somebody saying, what does a Halo kid know about competitive Gears of War? Come on now. What are you going to say to that?
I don't know that much, but from hearing what everyone else was talking about, there was not one complaint about how competitive it actually played.
So you sat down and talked to Cliffy B. What did you guys talk about?
Well, we sat down and talked about, the industry and how to go about getting in. And we talked a little bit about MLG because I asked them why they weren't working with each other. And supposedly I was told that Major League Gaming was trying to get them to change their IP around so much that it came to a point where Cliffy B had to shut it off and say, we can't do that or else it'll change the whole game. So we talked a little bit about that. Like I said, about getting into the industry. He hooked me up with his email and stuff like that on sending him a resume to try to get into Epic Games actually for a job. So, he's a really cool guy. He's very open to anyone that walks up to him. He's glad to take pictures. He's always smiling, and he's such a friendly guy.
Well, I think this is what a lot of people don't know. This is one of the reasons you want to go to these types of events because it is a networking opportunity. And I'm really glad to hear that you got a chance to sit down and talk with Cliffy B. So Gears of War 3, that's one. What for you would be another big highlight of PAX East?
Big highlight was actually outside of the convention center. The Ubisoft Ragdoll invite-only VIP party. That was just insane. I'm sorry, unfortunately Lee and them didn't get to make it out. I was the only one. But by far the best thing at PAX.
What makes it the best thing at PAX?
Well, the whole party, basically all the gaming industry, so all the game developers that were there, all the pro players, pro gamers, anyone that was in that type of field got invited to this. And I was given a yellow wristband. I didn't know what it meant until I actually showed up. So I'm sitting here with this yellow wristband, walking around, whatever. I get to the club around 8 o'clock. Ubisoft rents out this whole club called Royale. Now, from what I was told is that the singer Usher or whatever had just rented out a few weeks ago for his birthday. So I'm thinking this is a big deal. This must be a big club. So I get in there and, early on there wasn't anybody there. It wasn't until about 10 o'clock when everyone was there. I get up and they're telling me I get free drinks because of the yellow wristband. They were checking names at the door, IDs, all that stuff. So if your name wasn't on the list, you pretty much weren't getting in. Once the party kicked up, man, it was just insane, I've been to a lot of parties before, a lot of clubs, and nothing compared to what they were able to accomplish. And all this was just to show off Child of Eden, because they had 2 displays set up on the top floor, which was the VIP section. And you got to sit down, play, and have all the drinks, and all your drinks lit up because they had these light up ice cubes in them, and it was just crazy just to hang out and have drinks with all these game developers. I'm sitting there. I'm standing next to Cliffy B talking to him while we're having drinks together. Not something I would normally do every day.
Justin, I've got to admit, man, you're making me incredibly, incredibly jealous. But I've got to turn my attention over to Lee here as well, because I saw a picture from this past weekend of you there that also made me incredibly jealous. And I hear about your experience as well, but got to share with the listeners. You've heard our show, you've heard our intro music, our outro music, the band Power Glove. There's this great picture. It's of VVV Brock here with the rest of his band, the best rock band in the world, VVV Adrenaline, alongside arguably the best video game metal band in the world, Power Glove. So you guys got to meet each other. Tell us about your experience, that really cool meeting that you had, and some other cool things that happened at PAX. How was it?
Well, first I have to say Power Glove, not even arguably the best metal video game band of all time. They are the best metal video game band of all time. They are just some of the coolest guys you'll ever meet. They're always walking around in their on-stage costumes. You can tell these guys are just the epitome of cool, pretty much. Unfortunately, I was not able to see their show. It was a Friday night because there are so many people there trying to see them that we couldn't even get in to see them. But from what I heard about the show, it was incredible. Luckily, I have been able to see them in the past over the last few years, at Game Unicon, at GU Fest. They kick ass, plain and simple. They're amazing. And awesome as they are at playing music, they're just as much cool of guys to hang out with. So, I was so happy that I was able to talk to them, thank them for letting us use their music for our podcast. And they're just extremely cool about it. They said it was their pleasure and that they were happy that we were able to use their music.
That's really awesome. So the both of you, we've got Cliffy B, Ubisoft party for Eden, and now we have Brock in Power Glove. Brock, you owe me one more. What else was the highlight of PAX East for you?
Well, let's see. There were a lot of cool things I got to see. I got to see Zelda Ocarina of Time in 3D on the 3DS, which I've been waiting for forever. I got to meet Kurt Schilling, actually. I got a picture with him along with Justin and VVV M-Dog. He was an insanely cool guy. We even talked to him for a little bit. In addition to that, we saw Gears of War 3, which I didn't really care about a whole lot, but I was there just to really just hang out with everyone. I've gotten to meet Justin and some of the other rhythm gamers on maybe one or two occasions, but that was just only maybe once over the past couple of years. So to see everyone at one major event, and get to hang out for an entire weekend, that was just an insanely cool experience for me. We talk online all the time, but, be able to meet up at PAX East and just hang out for an entire weekend, play games together, spend 3 straight days, just hanging out. That was the highlight of my weekend.
I have to admit, yet again, supremely jealous. Sounds like you guys had an absolutely phenomenal time. So, now that you've gone to PAX East, any plans to head on over to the West Coast for PAX Prime later this year?
There were 69,500 people at PAX East this weekend. And for the lines that they had for the games that they were showing off, it wasn't that bad. The longest you may have to wait was about an hour. So to see 70,000 people and it still to turn out that well, and everything I experienced over the weekend, from the parties to networking to meeting people and all that stuff, I'm going to have to go to the West Coast for PAX Prime. Definitely. If you've never been to a PAX before, you definitely need to go. Well worth the experience.
It's good to see you guys go out there and represent VV Gaming. I've already seen your picks, Brock, and hopefully Spikemouth will see some of yours up on the forum and we can get them up on Facebook. Any shout-outs to anyone there, Brock?
Yes, big shout-outs to all of the VV members that went, Spikemouth, M-Dog, NPG, Tobias, Hell Ashes, Ganon Metroid. It was fun hanging out with all of you, and also all the Scorio people that we spent the entire weekend hanging out. There's too many of you to list, but you guys were all awesome. Thanks a lot.
What about you, Justin?
I'm going to give shout-outs to all the VV people that were there. It was great getting to meet a lot of you and hanging out throughout the weekend. Also, a big shout-out to Cliffy B and Kurt Schilling for, giving me some great advice and sitting down, being able to talk with me for a while. Also to Ubisoft and Bragdolls. They just probably had the best party there by far all weekend, and it was just incredible, and they did such an amazing job with it.
Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot, Brock. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to hop on the Losers Bracket. Take care, Brock.
No problem at all. Thanks a lot for having me, guys.
So we started the show off with 2 really great events, and let's move on to 2 more. Let's talk about some Halo. We got the NGL that happened this past week in Orlando, and after this we'll move on to some MLG Dallas news. But first, I was graced with the opportunity to hang out with Southern Comfort this past week in Orlando, Florida for the NGL event. They were able to take 5th place at the event, and this week we have VV Scarred, one of their clutch members from the team here. Scarred, Tucker, welcome to the Losers Bracket. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Beautiful, my man. So it was a pleasure getting to meet you at the event. I gotta say, you guys represented us flawlessly. For you guys that don't know about this story yet, I think this is great. They actually even said to me, yeah, we ironed our shirts before the event because we wanted to make sure we looked our best. But yeah, man, you had some absolutely phenomenal play through the first half of the tournament. What did you think of the event?
All in all, I think it was ran pretty well, and there was a couple of top teams there, and it was just all in all a good event, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've got to admit that was very true. I got the chance to talk to a few of the guys that were helping run the event, and they seemed pretty knowledgeable. And for a small-scale event, not really comparable to an MLG, but at the same time, they definitely put some heart and passion into it, which was really cool. I wasn't expecting it to be in such a smaller venue, but hey, they really made it work. I had mentioned you guys played really well for the first half of the tournament, but then you guys had run into Legit's team that was there, and there was a 50-48 really close match. Talk about what had happened, how you guys played, and what your thoughts are moving on from NGL.
I think we had the lead at the end by 1 or 2 kills, and we just didn't have the daisy chains that were supposed to be plugged into the mix amp, so we had to use our Xbox Live mic cord, and that kind of lowers your voice down. So I would kind of say we couldn't hear each other as much, but we made the wrong move on pushing, and they tied us, and then I think we just decided to push them and try and get the last 2 kills, and they ended up winning.
Well, Tucker, it's really great to have you on the show, and hearing that, it makes me think, what effect did that have on your play for the rest of the tournament? What do you think the team learned from this LAN event that's going to help you guys at MLG Dallas?
I think that after losing and upsetting by 2 kills, and then it just carried over, and we just lost our momentum, and I think we're going to learn to keep our heads up whenever we lose one game, because online, even though it is online, we're known for being down one game and then coming back, especially on game battles. There's multiple times where we're down one game and then we just pick up our momentum and just start going off, and then we win the next 2 games and win. So we're just gonna try and keep our heads up and hopefully go hard at Dallas.
Now, it's my understanding that a lot of people after this LAN event got sick. So to Jason saying it's a small venue, I'm guessing it must have been a really small venue. How's the team doing right now? Who's sick and how are they feeling?
All 3 of them are sick. I just got over it, and it was probably no bigger than an apartment in that. It was a really tiny area. They could fit 3 stations in there, 4 monitors on one table, and then right across there's 4 more. They can only fit 3 of those. It was a pretty small area, but all 3 of them are sick. They have 102 temperature. I just got over it, and right now I just have a sore throat.
Well, I'm sure that finishing 5th and then getting sick is not good for anyone. But at least you guys have plenty of time to reflect on what you learned from this experience and what you can take to Dallas. We actually are really happy that you had this experience. And to ask a follow-up question to all this, who would you say was the MVP for the event? Who would you say from VV Gaming did the best, and why would you say that?
I would have to say probably Nestor. Every game he would at least be going +5. Some games he went off and went +9, +10, and just carried us through a couple games. That's why I choose him.
Well, I know it's not where you guys wanted to end up, but I want to say, it was good that you guys showed up. It's good you did what you did. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give to anybody?
Basically just my whole team and everyone who watches this. I just want to say thanks for all the support, and I'll see you guys at Dallas.
And we look forward to having you guys represent us at Dallas, and I look forward to meeting the team in person. You take care.
You too. Thanks.
All right. Not to leave the Halo space, we also have with us tonight Icefane and his teammates. Icefane, welcome to the Losers Bracket.
Thanks for having me, Jerry.
It's great to have you back, Adam. Your team has been searching for a 4th. You found your 4th. But before we get into that, this is the first time your teammates will get to meet some of the VV community. Introduce your teammates to us.
Along with me on the podcast tonight, I have Ryan Polk, which is SneakEBeaver. And also I have our coach along with me, Athlon, also known as Eric.
Welcome, Sneaky, and welcome, Eric. How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing really good. Thanks for having me, Jerry.
Doing really awesome. Thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. So let's get to meet them a little bit. Eric, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us about your coaching background and what brought you to be here with Active Rush.
Yeah, sure. So I've been going to about MLG events now for roughly since the 2006 season. At the end of 2006 season, a friend of mine told me about MLG. I've always liked Halo and been pretty competitive with gaming, so I just heard about MLG, started going to events, and I played a few events and started coaching a few events, and coaching just worked out better in my favor with my particular schedule. So basically, I've just been coaching since pretty much the end of 2006. I had the opportunity to coach, in my opinion, one of the best Halo players to ever touch controller, Pistola. I coached his team back in 07 out of AMBRAC at every event, I believe. That was my entire 07 career was coaching that team. And then I went on to 08 when Halo 3 came out. And ever since then, I met Adam a long time ago through a friend of mine, Tolina. We've been friends, and we hanged out like every event. And this recently, they asked me to coach their team because we've all been pretty good friends for a while. And I also coached Ryan's team. It just all worked out really great for us, and it's just looking good right now.
So, Eric, tell me a little bit about you outside of gaming. You said that coaching fit better with your schedule. Tell us a little bit about what you do, school, work, outside of gaming.
Sure. So basically, what made me decide to do coaching instead is at the time I was actually going into the Air Force, and I was actually going to stop the whole gaming thing altogether. So I stopped playing for a while, and I was focusing on getting prepared to do the whole Air Force thing. I went in, unfortunately got injured, never got to finish basic completely. I was actually there for, I believe, over 3 months on bed rest for a while. So that didn't end up working out for me. So I came back and focused on college for the most part. Went to tech school, got my license in insurance adjusting. In the meantime, while I was doing that, I still wanted to be involved with Halo and the MLG community because I loved it. I didn't get to play as much, so I decided, I was really good at coaching, and a lot of people thought I was good at it, and I made a lot of good friends that way, so I figured I'd stick with that, and that's what I've been doing pretty much ever since, and I love it. It's great.
Awesome. Well, welcome to VV Gaming, and welcome to this podcast show. It's great to have you. Moving to you, Ryan, for those who may not know, the man behind SneakEBeaver, tell everybody a little bit about your career in Halo and also what you do outside of gaming.
All right, well, to start off, I got my brother into gaming, who is also our other teammate at the moment, Frosty, but he got competitive way before I did, and it wasn't until about the 2007 season that I actually went to a first event, and it was Anaheim, and I went with like a last-minute team, so I didn't do that great, but since my brother was placing Type 8 at that time, I always had like that rivalry to want to do good and catch up to his level. So in 2008, San Diego, I made my own team from scratch with just a couple of my other friends, and I got top 16 for the first time. And that was just really great, coming out, being like a no-name person, and making top 16 was a really big thing. From there, my team had some financial issues, so we couldn't go to the next event. So I was kind of struggling on finding a set team. I was getting out of AM, but never really top 16 again. Until recently, my brother finally decided to give me a chance, and we teamed, and that's when it was Ambush. We got, I think, top 16 again, and he had teamed with Adam a couple events before. They had their own little history, so after both of us not placing as well as we did, Adam and my team, we decided to form a union, and we made Active Rush, and we've been together for about 3 events now, and that brings me to where we are now.
Awesome. And what do you do outside of gaming? School?
Well, outside of gaming, I went to school for 2.5 years. I majored in computer engineering, but right now I'm taking a break. I'm starting up community college for another year, and then I'm planning on transferring to UCLA because I already got accepted to it. So that's the plan right now, but right now I'm off of school until the fall semester.
Gotcha. Okay. It's good to have you on the show, too. I mean, obviously we've met before, but I look forward to seeing you in Dallas again. And Adam, if I may, this brings me to your team with Frosty and SneakEBeaver, the three of you sort of forming this core. A lot of people knew that after the end of the 2010 season, you were going to make a roster change, and then it was slow going. It looked like you guys had tried a lot of people, waiting to find the right fit. Walk us through what happened in that search and how you ended up with your fourth now, and tell everyone who your fourth is.
Well, briefly after Dallas, we all talked about if we wanted to stay together and, if everybody was still happy with the team, what adjustments we saw that we needed to make before next season. Because as soon as we knew Dallas was over, we knew we were going to have to come out of AM bracket. And obviously that's a gauntlet in its own, because you don't know what you can really expect from the split screen rounds to the full screen rounds and, any other type of thing that happens at MLG in the AM bracket. And so we knew we weren't happy, obviously, and the three of us, me, Ryan, and George, talked as soon as the event was over and wanted to stay together. But as soon as the event was over, Straight Sick just was disappearing, moved his bags to a different room, and just couldn't leave the hotel fast enough to get to the airport. Like, he was just didn't think I guess we helped him out enough to place as well. And so we just knew he wasn't going to be the best fit for us. So we tried, some other people at that time. And our current fourth, we always ran matchmaking with him and would always destroy with him. Ryan and George would always team with him at locals, always won the 4v4 locals with, no effort at all. We just never really realized how great a fit Prototype really was until we were just like, all these other people that are telling, yeah, we'll run with you guys. And then they just basically just were leading us on and just were lying to us. So we're just like, all right, well, screw that. We want somebody that really wants to be on our team, that's going to have the same mentality of, taking constructive criticism, willing to go over like the practice, how we want to do, going over the film. And, with Halo Reach, the film system being a little bit different, a lot of people are just using that as an excuse to just be lazy and not watch film anymore, which is, basically a lame excuse. But, Prototype basically has the same mentality as all of us, and he's, really individually skilled. And the things he does with the sniper is pretty brilliant, and, he does a lot of damage and helps us out, but is always looking to improve and take our experience that we've gained from the events.
Awesome. And Dallas will be the first test. Let's talk a little bit about where sort of Halo is now. We've got V3 out there. I haven't gotten any of you guys' perspectives on V3, and I'm going to start again with you, Adam. What do you like? What do you not like? How do you feel about these V3 settings?
V3, I was a little skeptical at first. Me and Ryan both had the same views with that. We just rather had the CTF be instant return instead of that 3 second that they currently implemented. We just saw that the 3 second, without it being the radius, was just going to affect the game a lot, and just instead of making people try to make plays to just kill the flag and the people around it really quick, now people are just going to sneak over to your base and just pull it out, and it takes another 15 to even return. And then if you even try to return the flag, you're just saying, hey, please name me, I'm right here. We're still trying to get used to that right now. That's been the biggest transition for all of us, because since they haven't updated the playlist, it's very hard to get used to these settings. Other than that, I did a lot with the V3 testing. I was pro Element all the way. I told Casey from day one Element was his, their best Forge map by far. I just really loved it. Nexus, I really have no idea how that got in. I felt there was much better maps just for TS to be implemented into the V3 settings. Like, for example, the Midship remake they made, Prophet, would have been definitely better. And even Element CTF, we've realized, is a little inconsistent right now in the recent scrims we've been playing, just with the spawning and how easy you can just get spawn killed.
All right. Well, SneakEBeaver, Ryan, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? How do you feel about these V3 settings?
Yeah, I completely agree with Adam. We have the same ideas on a lot of stuff, and the only thing that I want to add is how he was saying the CTF on Element is just really because you get spawn killed so easily, and I just really don't understand why they didn't implement the King of the Hill, because from what I understood, everyone liked the King of the Hill that was playing it, even like the pros, but it played out way more smoother than this Capture the Flag. So I wish they would have stuck with King of the Hill. And everything else that Adam said pretty much is the same thing, I would say.
All right, and now we'll turn to the coach there. Eric, what are you hearing and what are you thinking about V3?
It's funny how well these guys, we all think alike. That's why I chose these guys, and I'm glad they chose me to have their coach. I feel exactly the same way. I felt like there was definitely a map or two that should have made it, that I thought was going to make it. I don't really feel very highly of the Nexus map either. There was actually another good, really, really good map that was made by one of the people. I believe NGL actually used it at their tournament this past weekend. It was the Onslaught remake. From what I understood and when I watched it on the stream, nobody really complained about it at all. There was no in-game lag whatsoever. It was actually a very, very solid, good remake. And from what I was watching on the stream, it looked amazing. I feel just about the same way. And yeah, I go in and I practice on Xbox Live so I can have the same mentality as these guys going into the tournament, I'm not a big fan of the whole respawn with the flag thing either, but, I'm sure we'll adapt and overcome. Get these guys nice and good prepared for Dallas.
All right, guys, we're 2 weeks now away from Dallas. After listening to you guys here, I feel comfortable. It sounds like you've got a really good roster, but I'm really curious on what you guys think. How do you guys think you feel against the other teams that are going to be there, their rosters? What benchmarks have you set for yourself? How do you feel you guys are going to perform at Dallas?
I would definitely say there's very few teams that we feel that are like just on a whole nother level that we can't really compete with. Back when the Game Battles did the 10K ladder and the V2 settings, we were basically keeping up with all those teams, and we were just running with a Texas local of mine that has like a little bit of a mental block when he plays against really good people, but other than that, he was a really good friend of ours and did the San Francisco GameStop tournament with us. And I mean, we were able to really do really well against like Instinct, Status Quo, and all those teams. The only team we were never able to beat was Darkest Hour, and I still think Darkest Hour is probably one of the better teams out there right now. Instinct looked like they improved quite a bit watching the last LAN, but I really want to see how Darkest Hour is going to be at this next LAN network. And as a benchmark goes for our team, obviously we all want to win and do extremely well and represent VVV to the fullest. But I mean, I don't think any of us would be happy if we don't even get top 16. Top 8 will still be a tad disappointed because I know we'll still maybe lose a match close and that we feel that we should have made some minor adjustment where we could have won it.
Sneaky, what do you feel about that?
I would have to agree. I mean, the only team that I am worried about, and Adam mentioned, was Darkest Hour. I mean, we played them multiple times in the game battles, and they're the only team that I felt was just, they knew exactly what they were doing at every moment in the game. And how Adam said, I'm really looking forward to watching them on the LAN network this weekend and see how they play on LAN. But besides that, I'm not really worried about anyone. As far as the benchmark goes, I'm definitely setting it at no less than top 4. I mean, we have all been around top 16, top 12, and I mean, top 8 would be an accomplishment for me, Adam, because I mean, we haven't been top 8, but I still don't think I would be satisfied with anything less than top 4.
I really like hearing that confidence and knowing that you're setting your goals high. What about you, Coach? What do you think, Eric?
Yeah, I have to absolutely agree with these guys. I've seen them all now for a couple years. I've known these guys, and I've seen them all play, every single one of them. And I have always thought these guys have, like, their skill level has been up there, definitely with all the top pros. They can definitely hang with any of the top pros on the circuit, easy, no problem. It's just getting that core 4-man team together. And honestly, I have to honestly say this is one of the best teams I ever have been a part of, and I am so grateful to have the opportunity to help these guys get as far as they can. Honestly, in my opinion, if we're on fire, I've seen these guys in action. They have beaten people online. I can honestly really say I can see these guys getting first. It's definitely possible. I mean, we have a new game out there. Not every single person out there is fully adapted to it yet. I mean, these guys have a lot of potential. And as far as the benchmark goes, I have to agree with Ryan. I mean, we have to set it pretty high because I know how much potential these guys have. And if we just stay strong and stay positive, we can definitely reach that for sure, 100%.
I like the confidence, gentlemen. I really do. And I think the VV community is going to obviously be keeping a very close eye on you. Many of them obviously have been following you now for several events, and obviously everyone's looking forward to seeing you guys do really well at Dallas. It's a wide open playing field. new game, a lot of new changes, especially with V3. I think it's going to be really some of the most exciting Halo we've seen, just simply because I think there's going to be some new kings. I think this is going to be the Kingmaker event. So any shout-outs? Adam, you have any shout-outs to anyone?
Shout-outs would be to the other two ActiveTrust members that couldn't make the podcast tonight, Frosty and Prototype. Wish they could have been here to introduce themselves a little bit more to everybody. All the VVV community is still supporting us after this whole time of us, not getting a fourth exactly right away and getting right on the ball. But right now we're practicing really hard and, hit some minor bugs with mics and all. But, we're back on that practicing ball really hard right now and on crunch time. And just all my teammates supporting me and believing in me and still teaming with me for all of Halo Reach so far.
Awesome. And what about you, Ryan? SneakEBeaver, do you have anybody you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, just to all the VVV community that supports us, to our other two teammates, Frosty and P-Tizype, and all of our close friends, Z-Logic, Scotty Books, Mr. Freestyle. They're always there supporting us. We just love any support we get. It helps us get through and keep our heads up high.
Awesome. And now, Coach Eric, anyone you want to give a shout-out to?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know I'm new to the VVV gaming community, but, so far from what I've seen from everybody, it seems they're really cool. And big shout-out to all the VVV people in the gaming community. You guys seem really awesome, really cool. And definitely a big shout-out to our other two teammates that couldn't make it here for sure. Also, yeah, I would like to also big shout-out to Ekbay, Scotty Books, Mr. Freestyle, and Z-Logic. Z-Logic is a really cool, awesome guy. He helps us out tremendously with a lot of things. He's a great friend. So,
gentlemen, thank you so much for stopping by. I can't express enough how much I look forward to cheering you guys on in Dallas. It's going to be a hell of a time. Until then, keep practicing. We'll see you soon.
Take care, guys. Real pleasure to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
I so look forward to watching Active Rush in Dallas. I really, really do. But, Jason, this does not bring us to the end yet. We have more Halo news because our very own VV Perilous was with VVV MBK at Pros and Joes at the LAN network. Isn't that right, Jason?
That is very true. We've got a staple on the show. He's been around on and off since the beginning. Ryan, VVV Perilous, welcome back to the show. I'd love to hear about your experience this past weekend. How was Pros versus Joes?
Thanks, guys. First, I want to say it's glad to be back on the show. All right, so Pros versus Joes. I get picked up by the airport from Fear itself. Cool enough. He drives a Mustang. 3 other people fitting in it. It was a little tight squeeze, no big deal. But when we get to the house for Pros versus Joes, I walk in, and it's nothing like you expect if you watch the stream at all. It's a 3-story house, and you walk down to the basement where everyone's going to be staying. There's already a few players there. One of them's flew in all the way from the UK to come and play this. Right away, we start at probably 6 o'clock on Friday. We just start warming up and stuff. The pros are walking around watching us, assessing some gameplay. They go up, they draft the teams, come back down. I'm on Fear Itself's team with the Brit and Eclipse, another person there, and Kyle's on Ogre 2's team. We get right into playing series. It's we play every team once, a 7-game series. So we play seven games against each team, playing all the V3 maps, which was nice because we also got to not only play the V3 maps, but we got to play on the new Asus monitors that MLG will be using, which was just simply amazing.
Sounds awesome. So what do you think you picked up from this? What did you and MBK learn?
Mainly what I learned was, on LAN, you really have to slow down your shot a lot more. Online, I know there's all these, kids who spam like crazy and get kills. It's not going to really work on LAN. I'm going to forewarn you right now. Another big thing I learned was, don't just make call-outs. Talk to your team. Don't flood the mic with just random babble. Your call-outs, he's one shot over here, no big deal. Talk to your team and be like, yo, Kyle, come with me. Let's do this push or whatever.
So tell everyone about the team that you're playing with right now, because a lot of people may not know much about who's on your team and details about that. So tell everyone about the team you're on right now.
Absolutely. the team I'm on right now, the team name is called Crowd Control. We have Suffix Got Swag, Ghostger, myself, and VVV NBK. And we also have a coach, Crucify. We picked up this team probably no less than a week and a half ago. I didn't know what NBK was going to do. He moved on with this team of 2, and then he asked me to join his team as well, which was good. Here we are a week and a half later, practicing hard every night, late at night because of Kyle's work schedule. He doesn't get off till roughly around 11:30 p.m. my time. So it's definitely thrown off my sleep schedule a little bit, but, no big deal.
So what would you say the best part of doing an event like Pros versus Joes? What do you think the pros get out of it, and what do you think the Joes get out of it?
I think pros get, they can really build more fan base, like get personal on a personal level with some of their fans, or get people that might have hated them to, not necessarily hate them as much, like get to know them on like I said, a personal level. They also get, money out of it, which is the pros love, always money. And then, the Joes that go, they really get a good sense of like how they should play. They get a sense of like how they, compare to other Joes, not to mention like we're also playing against a pro on the other team. So you really get to judge like your skill level and where you're at in the game.
Awesome. That does sound really good. Any shout outs? Anybody you want to say anything to?
I want to thank Mr. P for everything that he does at the LAN network. He works hard and it shows. Also, I want to thank Mrs. P. Her cooking is just absolutely amazing. Cooking for that many people and still making it taste that good, it's just sickening, really.
Well, I've heard nothing but good things from Kyle and BK about the LAN network, and it's great to see one of our elite members there experiencing it for himself. For those who ever want to be a part of this, is it invite only? Do you have to pay for it? How does it sort of work? Do you know?
All right, so if you do want to participate in this, you have to, go make an account at the LAN network. You can become a premium member and watch streams like when the pros go have like the 6-team LAN or an 8-team LAN, which they are testing out if they want to do that for the next one or not. It's like $5 a month or whatever, and you can watch probably some of the best Halo Reach gameplay I've seen in a long time. It's $495 for newcomers to attend the event. It's not invite only. It's first come, first serve. Like the first 18 Joes that pay, like are fully paid and are attending, they get to go.
So it's how much again? Sorry?
$495 for newcomers and $395 for return players. So like if you want to go again, it gets, discounted, which I'm really thinking about going again because it was probably one of the funnest weekends I've had in a long time.
Perilous, it sounds like you had an absolutely wonderful time at this event. I'm really glad you got to stop by and share this information with us. Really looking forward to hanging out in Dallas, my friend. I'm sure you're excited too, right?
Oh, I cannot wait for Dallas. I love going to events. It's like the highlight of my years every time.
Good, because we're really excited to see you there. So thanks again for stopping by, and we'll be seeing you soon, buddy.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here on the Losers Bracket.
All right, well, this brings us almost to the end of the show. As Jason mentioned at the beginning of the show, we're going to have a special guest next week. I'll let you guess who that special guest is going to be, but if you look in our forums, you'll see a thread giving an opportunity to ask this very special guest questions. And as it sits now, it will be MLG Sundance. Whoops, I just spoiled the surprise. But yeah, we're hoping to have Sonny on the show next week as it's scheduled now, and I want to give you all a chance to ask questions. Also, IMG website is released probably ahead of MLG, all of the locations. So I'm going to give everybody the sort of a down and dirty for the rest of the season. Obviously, Dallas is April 1st to the 3rd. Columbus, we all know, is going to be June 3rd to the 5th. After that, Major League Gaming will be going to Anaheim, California, the headquarters for Blizzard, and that'll be July 28th to 31st. Then it'll be my favorite stop of last year, actually. That'll be up next. It'll be Raleigh, North Carolina, August 26th to 28th. There'll be nothing going on in September. And then coming to your hometown, Jason, Orlando, on the 12th to 16th of October. So you will have another event near home. And then finally the finals, the sort of championship, the nationals, will be in Providence, Rhode Island, November 18th to 20th, which will give us a chance to see a lot of people from the Northeast. I think about Fruit, Spikemouth, I know is up there, so I think it's going to be fantastic. And on that note, I want to say everyone take care, and we'll catch you next week on the Losers Bracket. Take care, everyone.
Most definitely, everybody. We really look forward to seeing you at all these stops over the next couple of months, whether it be Dallas or Providence, anywhere in between. Hope to see you with VVV Gaming at these events. But alas, as Jerry has said, this is the end of the 59th round of the Losers Bracket. Please be sure to stop by next week for our 60th episode with MLG Sundance, the man, here to answer all the questions you have posted in our forums. Big thanks to our sponsors, SteelSeries, Control Freak, MusicSkins.com, GamerLogos.net, and Custom Ink. And of course, a big shout out to the people featured in that PAX East photo we had mentioned earlier with VV Adrenaline. The band you hear in our intro and outro, that would be the group Power Glove. They are awesome. Make sure to check them out. Always appreciative of all the feedback and support you give to us. Any sort of comments, suggestions, send them over our way. You can email them to us. The email is thelosersbracket@vvv-gaming.com. You can also shoot us any sort of feedback you've got over on Twitter. The account over there is Losers Bracket.
And before we finally go, I'd like to give one more shout out from PAX East this past weekend. I'd like to give a big shout out to Neighbor, Element Warrior, and Bravo. We had so many good times being there at the event. It was the first time I actually really got to sit down, hang out with them, and get to know them for a while. And we just had a blast. Have a good night, everyone, and we will see you next week.